Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining me here. My name is Jen. I'm the owner, speaker, and holistic coach here at Weightless, helping women show up confidently, both personally and professionally in their life and business through a combination of health seminars, holistic coaching, and my new program, Confidence on Camera for Business Owners. Thank you for joining us here. I am super excited to introduce my special guest expert for June, Linda Babulic. Hi, Linda.
Hi, so thrilled to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited to have you here, especially because, as far as I know, Canada is still on travel restrictions and still sheltering in place. Is that correct?
Pretty much. We can't even go across the river, which is 2 minutes away to go into Quebec. It's opening up on, I think, June 15th, which is really good because we rented a cottage on the Quebec side starting June 19th.
What timing? That is fabulous timing. And I'm so glad you get a chance to experience some of the summertime, because you mentioned in our earlier conversation, it's a little muggy out there. It's about 100 degrees or so here in Minneapolis. So yeah, we're also experiencing the humidity that comes with summertime. So I'm so glad you get to enjoy that. Linda will be sharing with us today how to lead a strong and powerful life as a zesty woman. So I'm excited to hear more and dive into that with Linda. Before we jump into the interview today, I want to share with those of you who are watching, you're welcome to comment and put your questions here below the video. This is a live stream, so we are live right now. But if you catch the replay, please comment with #replay so that I can let Linda know that you have questions and you want to know how to lead a powerful and zesty life for yourself. So definitely make sure to connect with us, share your comments. And because I'm using a service called StreamYard, all you need to do is click the link and it'll give you permission. You'll give it permission to use your name so I can address you by name. And again, the replay will be up through Saturday. I believe it's the 11th of June. So you have a couple days to catch up with us. Make sure you comment and share what is showing up for you. In the meanwhile, let us know where you're joining us from. We're from the northern half here. She's up in Canada and I'm here in Minnesota. But if you're from anywhere else in the world, please let us know where you're joining us from live. We'd love to hear from you. Also, I want to give you a heads up that I do these guest expert interviews every month. Next month, I'm going to be having Latoya Bell tell us about how to pump up your presence through style and color. So that will be July 9th at 9 a.m. Yes, Linda has a really great style. So she's like, yes, make sure you join us for that if style is challenging for you with these pandemic times and you're in your sweatpants or perhaps no pants, because, you know, that happens, right? All right, Linda, I'm super excited. So Linda is, I'm going to give you a proper bio here so everyone can hear all the best about you. Linda Babulic is a zesty executive life coach, author of the #1 international bestseller called Zest Your Life, A Taste of Inner Wisdom. She's an author and certified dream coach. Welcome, Linda.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So one of the things that stood out to me about your profile is that you are a certified dream coach. So that makes me very curious. What does it mean to be a dream coach?
Well, 5 years ago, I went to the Wealthy Visionary Conference, which was hosted by Marcia Weeder. Now, Marcia also endorsed my book. And Marcia's been on Oprah for about 6 times. She is the CEO and founder of Dream University. And so I'm a certified dream coach with her, which is a very specific process on how to find what your dreams and desires are. And often one of the pieces that I really like about her work is often we're challenged with an objection and we let our dreams go. And Marcia has taught me a method to walk people through this so that you can really have your dreams and desires.
Interesting. So that brings up a follow-up question for me. Don't we already know what our dreams and desires are? What would prevent us from knowing those?
Many people don't know. If you found a lamp and you rubbed it and it said you have 3 wishes, do you know what they would be? A lot of people don't know what they are, especially now, because it's like, I'm afraid to dream. Am I dreaming about travel that may or may not happen? And we've gotten so doubtful. And there's a song by Katy Perry that says, when did we put our dreams in a box in the attic? And I think it's time we took the box down. So we could have forgotten about our dreams, put them in the box in the attic or in the closet, or we've had all our dreams come true. It's like, how do I dare ask for more? I have a home, I have a family, I have a career, I have whatever it is that was on your list 10, 20 years ago, and you have completed all of it. So how dare you ask for more, which is a belief, that's the voice in your head. Do dare ask for more, because if we didn't ask for more, we'd all still be riding tricycles instead of that car we wanted. So it's really important for us to dream more, to dream bigger. I believe that when we step into our leadership and we step into our power, we can build a better world. The more I have, the more generous I can be, the more donations I can make, because a portion of my fees for my one-on-one clients goes to my two charities of choice, Dress for Success Ottawa and the Food Bank. And I think that's really important. The more I have, the more I give. So yes, let's dream big and let's know what your dreams are. Otherwise, you end up with something you might not have really wanted.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned that when we fuel our dreams and are able to be successful at fueling our dreams, then we tend to give back. Especially, I think I read an article about women as a percentage are more likely to give back to their communities financially and also of their time, regardless of what their financial situation is. So I love that you bring it up, that you donate a portion of what you earn in your business to charities that are really important to you, because I think that's something that a lot of women either are currently doing or wish to do in the future. So thank you for bringing that up. That is a really important consideration.
I have a friend who's an executive with a major oil company, and she was a part of her job was to look at countries in Africa. And what they discovered was that when they gave the money to the chief of the village, which was a man, or to the man in the family, the money disappeared. And when they invested in schools, the children didn't get to school. But when they gave the money to back the women built businesses. The women helped each other out. And the children got dressed and they got to go to school. And the women had profitable businesses. They found it made a huge difference because they were donating millions of dollars that were really not changing the community in a positive way. In fact, it was leading to more drinking, more meetings, more awful things, and they turned it around.
What a compelling study. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's really interesting how, not just in the US or Canada, but outside of us too, there are other countries that, it's proving true that women will reinvest within their community and better things happen so that we can all lead better lives. So thank you for sharing that study. I know that you, Linda, work one-on-one with clients. What is the most common challenge you see in clients when it comes to manifesting their dreams?
They're confused. It's interesting. It goes right back to your original question. They're confused. They don't know what they want. They're not clear about their dreams, and they don't know if they should ask for more, want more. Do I want this? They really need to get clear on what they want in all aspects. And the gift that I am providing for all of your viewers is the Dreams and Desires Vision Workshop, where I walk you through all of these. I think that when you start your vision by flipping through a magazine, you're going to end up with Oprah's house on your vision board. And I don't think she's moving out anytime soon. So you better have your own vision. So when you think about it emotionally, how do you want to feel? That's important with the work that you do. That's huge. Physically, how do you want to feel? Not just in your body. What kind of room do you want? What paint color do you want? What house do you want? Where do you want it situated? What kind of a property do you want to live on? Physically, there's a lot of physical things that we need to think about. And mentally, do you want to be sharp, agile, able to keep up a zesty conversation? That's hugely important. And the emotional and the mental are very connected. But we can split them apart so we can get really clear. And then spiritually, we want to connect to that piece of us that's the higher self, that voice that says, you can do this. You can interview people, Jen. Of course you can. Personality like yours, it's meant to be. Of course you can do this. And that's what we need. We need that confident voice in our head. And that's the transformation my clients go through. They go from confusion to clarity. And when you have clarity, then you could start doing the things you want to do and do them with confidence. The more you do them, the more confidence you get. Just like when we learn to ride a bike. We're all wobbly at first, but the more we did it, the better we got at it. And the more confident we were that we could get on the bike and not fall over.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're super crystal clear on how you serve people and what their challenges are when they come to you. What came up for me when I heard you saying that was, especially in my work with one-to-one clients as well, I help them with their holistic health. It's not necessarily the confusion, because often we know what we need to do, but we're afraid to ask permission or think that we need to ask permission before taking action. Maybe because we're in this service mindset that we have to take care of everyone else's needs before our own. And it's giving ourselves permission. So what would you say to that for someone who's maybe struggling with, I know what I want, I just don't know how to go about getting it or asking for it?
Well, a long time ago, I decided that rather than asking for permission, I would just ask for forgiveness after. I did it anyway. And you know what? I've seldom had to do that. If I just go ahead and do it, it's fear that keeps us in asking for permission. Because what if I offend somebody? What if I don't? What if this? What if that? It's all of those what ifs that are stopping us and putting in fear. But if we just put it aside and we go ahead and do it anyway, first of all, most people won't even notice what you're doing. And secondly, nobody's going to come on you and say, why did you do that? Because we're doing things for the greater good. We're doing things that are going to make a positive difference. And you're just not going to get any flack for that. The flack is all in our own head. That's the objector that Marcia Wieder talks about. The objector in our head that says, don't do that, you might get hurt. Well, let's take a look at the objector the way Marcia does. And she says, oh, good point. Maybe I won't ride my bike on the highway. Good point. So you listen to all the objections and you figure out how to go around them, over them, through them, solve them. And then you go ahead and follow your dreams and desires, because when your cup is full, everybody else's cup is going to be a little fuller too.
I love that you say to ask for forgiveness rather than permission. That's kind of my personal philosophy in life, because I'm the youngest of 4 kids, so I used to just do what everyone told me to do or what other people expected me to do, just because I didn't really think to challenge that. I was fine with status quo at the time. And as I got older, I started taking matters into my own hands. And as you said, very rarely when we take action do we have to actually get forgiveness for the things that we choose to do in our lives. Because like you said, most often it's for the betterment of ourselves, our family, our community, other people that we care about. So that's really interesting that you also have that philosophy and share that. You take the action. Nobody's going to say anything to you if they even notice that you've done something.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, one of the things that I also found very intriguing about you, Linda, I mean, I know you speak and you also serve executives and people working within companies. So I've heard of people who work as executive coaches and work as life coaches, but you're an executive life coach. So what made you want to combine those two types of niches in the coaching industry into one?
I think it's particularly important, especially for women. We want to have a balanced life. So when I'm working with my clients, even if they're an executive in a major corporation, I'm working with them to help them figure out how they can fit into their role within the corporation. So they pay me out of their own pocket. because it doesn't fit into the corporate style to have a coach like me. So I'll walk them through the presentations so they have the confidence to walk in. They have the intent. I have a program called Powerful Juicy First Impression, so they know how to introduce themselves. And one of my clients just got a new position. She was being introduced to all of her staff, and her boss was introduced, this is the new, say a few words about yourself. And he said, wow, you came prepared. And she said, I just chuckled and I thought about you. Of course I came prepared. I took Linda's program on how to introduce myself. All of those things are hugely important, and we don't learn them along the way. And it's also important for us to be able to work it within our life. Now, I don't like to use the term balance. A lot of people ask me that. How do I have balance in my life? Life's not like that. I think of a teeter-totter. It's up, it's down. Sometimes being on top is the fun piece. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, because you're looking around, it's like, oh, I'm at the top. And sometimes being at the bottom is really powerful too, because you can knock your little sister off the other end. Oh, did I say that out loud?
I won't tell.
Being up or being down that's the fun part of balancing your life. It's to be able to figure out how to make the best of where you are now. How do we turn this into a good news story? Why did I have a migraine for 3 days? As I mentioned, because it was hot. I needed to take a break. I just needed to take a break for a few days, do things I never do, like actually rest and relax. And I did. I feel so much better for it. And I kept saying to myself, what's the message in here? And then when I looked it up in my books, because I also took a medical intuitive training, I said, oh yeah, you need to rest. I said, okay, that's 3 times I've gotten the message. Pause, rest, relax. We need to listen to those things. And executive life, working with my clients as an executive life coach, helps them to be able to do that, to say it's okay. It's okay to take time off. It's okay to do what you need to do. Or it's okay to completely change your life. I have one client from Texas who was a high-level executive in the oil industry, and he came up here to Ottawa, Canada, spent a few days with me, and we laid out her mastermind map, which I use a mind map, laid out where she wanted to be. And in 18 months, she got every single thing on that list. Everything. She moved from Houston to Lincoln, Nebraska. She got the position she wanted. Her husband got the position he wanted. And she just bought the radio station. So it's pretty good.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Oh, that's huge. I love that you talk about some of the tools you're using and how they support your clients in their journey. As you were sharing with some of the work you do with executives, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, well, aren't they already confident in who they are? They're an executive. They didn't get to that position within their company without having some level of confidence. So what would you say to that?
I've been working with women who are in an industry that's been dominated by men. It just happened. I've fallen into that niche. And so there are very few women in the industry. And I give a talk called The 3 Keys to Juicy Effective Conversations Between Women and Men. And I give that for both women and men because we use different language, we use different posture. And that's why it's good to give them the confidence to walk into a boardroom when they're the only woman at a table of 12. And they keep getting talked over. They keep getting cut off. They're not being listened to because men just approach communication in a different way than women do. And when somebody interrupts us, and then they interrupt us again, and the third time we just shut up. And that erodes our confidence. But when you go in well-equipped with an intent, you know what you're going to say. You know what words to use. You know where to sit in the room. That's hugely important. You want to know where to sit in relationship to the decision maker. I just got a note from a client this morning that said, by the way, I rocked my presentation to this like a boss. Yes, because we had talked about it. I said, okay, where are you going to sit? She said, well, it's online. I said, okay, but we got to make sure we've got all the pieces together. And that's what she did. And she rocked it. It's all those little pieces that we may not know. All of the years of eroding our confidence that makes us need to have a different set of rules and a different set of confidence to be able to walk in now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing a little bit of the techniques that might be useful in terms of your confidence when you're stepping into a room full of people who may not look or be the same station of life as you, because that can have an impact on our confidence. Another thing that stood out to me as well was you said the importance of pausing and resting. And I know that I tend to work with a lot of type A women who want to get everything done all at once, and they're super mom and they're super woman and they're doing all the things in their business, all the things in their life. How do you share, I guess, the importance of the pause and the rest for women who maybe have a hard time slowing down?
Well, it happened to me. I was sick for 3 years because I didn't, and I missed my kids, my teenagers, while they were young. 3 years I was sick in bed. So you have to do it. You have to do it. And you can see it still bothers me. And it was years ago. I could hear them laughing. And I'm thinking, oh, I should get up. I should go down. And I couldn't do it because I had worked 90 hours a week. And as the saying now goes, I'll never get those years back. They're gone. So, and I watch people with their fitness too. It's like, okay, if you're not taking care of your body, where are you going to live? And, oh, I don't have time to work out. I love this. I don't have time to work out. Do you have time for a heart attack? You know, I don't have time to pause. Do you have time for being sick for 3 years? When the doctors don't know what's wrong with you? You don't have time for that. So you do have time to meditate every morning. Yes, every morning I meditate. I've been doing it for several years, and I journal my meditation because, of course, sitting still for 15 minutes would be really hard.
It is hard.
It is, but because it's cued and I listen to the recording, I can write down. As I'm writing, it walks me through the 6 phases. It's the 6-phase meditation by Vishen Lakhiani of Mind Valley.
Oh, I love that one. I did that one for like a year, a full year, like every day.
I've been doing it for years and years. I started by reading his book on a beach in Jamaica. And then after that, I started doing the meditation and I haven't stopped. And I think it's 4 years. So I have journals and journals full in there. And it's great because you get to write down your goals, your perfect day, forgiveness. That's a huge piece that carries way too much energy. That's one of the pieces in there. And it just sets the tone for my day. And I can tell if something has interrupted me and I didn't do my meditation. It's like, oh, I feel a little, it's 2:00 and I haven't done my meditation yet. It's like, damn. So then I make sure that I do it the next day. If I'm traveling, I can do it in my head. I don't have to always write it down, and that's fine too, because I can hear his voice in my head now of going through all of the phases. Hugely important. You have 18 minutes. You have to go to the bathroom. That's important too. Go to the bathroom, because if you don't go to the bathroom, your body's not going to feel very good. Go to the bathroom. Meditate, take 15 minutes. Because if I called you and said, do you have 15 minutes to talk to me? What would you say?
Absolutely.
Exactly. And we will do it for everybody else. So why can't we do it for ourselves? Because we need to retrain our brain. You're worth it. You're worth it. I love myself. I'm worth it. I love myself. I'm worth it.
Yeah. First of all, I'll let our viewers in on the Vishen Lakhiani meditation that we just referenced, because Linda and I are both familiar. I'll share that link in the comments for you all to take a listen. It is powerful. And I think he's an author as well. He just released a book, I want to say, in the past 6 months or so. Speaking of authors, Linda, you yourself are an author. Your book is called Zest-y Life. And I noticed on your website, which I'll link below the video, you have like activities you can do around different chapters in your book. But tell us a little bit more about who you wrote Zest-y Life for.
I wrote it for women How it all started was I was sitting in a women's circle and I said something, and somebody said, if you did a workshop on that, I would go. I went, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. And then I went on my first vision quest in 2003, and I talked to my shamanic teacher, and she said, you've been talking about doing this for years. How long would it take you to put the workshop together? I said, 4 weeks. Bam, 4 weeks. It was sold out. It was full. It was done. So I did the workshops, and I did 4 workshops and then added the vision board on the 5th workshop. And I did the workshops twice and reviewed and revised it. And then the 3rd time I wrote it into a manuscript. So along with the book, you get exercises that walk you through so that you can actually integrate what it is we're talking about. So I wrote the book for women because the subtitle is A Taste of Inner Wisdom. It's there. It's in our cellular memories. It's a matter of awakening the wisdom within us. And to do that, we need to be quiet. We need to read the book. We need to do the exercises. I even have a set of webinars, videos that will walk you through the exercises. The book is also endorsed by Dr. Joe Vitale of The Secret.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And Marsha Weeder, of course, the CEO of Dream University. Want to hear a funny story about Marsha? I was at a conference with Brenda Burchard, and I'm walking down the hall, and I'm walking next to Marsha. She's a tiny little thing. And she says, hi, where are you from? I said, I'm from Canada. I live in a little cabin in the woods. And at the time, we had 8 acres and a Lindell cedar home. And she started to laugh. I said, that amuses you? She says, yes, I live in a penthouse in Beverly Hills. It was great. We had such a good laugh about that. And when I sent her a copy of my book, it had to go to 90210. So you never know who you meet when you're walking down the hall, when you're just, be nice, and you don't know how that's going to come back to you. And she ended up endorsing my book from that. And well, I've met her a couple of times since then. We kept up the relationship.
Yeah. Well, I love the idea behind your book, and I love the belief that in order to tap into our inner wisdom, we have to be quiet. And again, referencing back to the time when you were sick, you probably hadn't taken the time to be quiet and to listen to your inner wisdom. And so your body's like, oh, nope, we're not doing this. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, that was time lost for you. So I think it's important for us to reiterate that the pause is powerful. Our inner wisdom is speaking to us, but maybe the noise around us right now is too loud for us to hear it. So get her book, Zest Your Life. It's available on her website, which I will link below this video. So check it out. And as she mentioned, she has workshops to walk you through it and make it more tangible, because many of us read books. Like I read 6 books a month at least, because I'm a voracious reader. I love learning. I love reading. I have a lot of friends who are authors, and I'm happy to support them. But you could read a book and do nothing about it. And does the book add to your life if you don't take any action based on it? No, it doesn't. So make sure you make it tangible for yourself. Even if there's one workshop or one lesson you take from that, you will lead a more powerful and exciting life for yourself. So Linda, I know we're just about the time for the end of today. Is there something you want to share with my audience before we sign off for the day?
I think it's really important for you to know that we all have the zest in us, and it's time the world saw your zest. Step into your leadership, step into your power, and share your zest. The world is waiting for it, and it's up to us to build a better world. And now's our time to do it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Now is the perfect time. There's no better time than now. Don't forget to check out the free Dreams and Desires Vision Workshop. This is a completely free offering that Linda is sharing with us today, so we can get clear on our dreams. And of course, if you need support around that, Linda's there to support you. Check out her website. Get the free gift that she's offering to us. Gifts come once in a lifetime, and if it resonates with you, this is your time and this is your sign to take action based on that dream. It has been a pleasure chatting with you this morning, Linda. Thank you so much for sharing your morning with us.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure.
Awesome. So for you who are watching the replay, you're like, oh my gosh, I missed it. It's okay. You have 2 full days to watch this. This video will come down on Saturday, June 11th. So make sure to grab your free resources in the links in the comments below this video. Tag Linda if you have any questions, or I will make sure to do that. If you have a question, now is your chance. She's here to support you and to usher you on this journey of inner wisdom and leading a powerful life you love. Thanks once again, Linda. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.